Hey there, YouTubers! Oh my gosh, I can't take it anymore! The stress, the work, the worry, it's all a bunch of crap. Hope you gotta jump. I can't take it anymore. I'm gonna jump. Hi there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to another physics video. Today we are redoing a video I made on my channel a long time ago. The gravity video. We have all kinds of new and interesting experiments. I've already filmed all of them, and I am about fed up with it. But most importantly, supersize it. We're going to see if I can survive this 20-foot step. Step, foot drop. But that'll be at the end. So, before we can continue to some awesome, bone-shattering experiments, we need to know some principles about gravity. First of all things with mass experience gravity. The only stipulation is light, which has no mass, but is affected by gravity. An example is gravitational lensing around super heavy objects. Another video for another day. Light has momentum, but no mass. How does this work? Quantum mechanics. Anyway, secondly, all things on Earth accelerate towards it at 9.8 meters per second squared. This is true in a vacuum, which is an environment with no air. Air changes things, but more on that in a minute. Mass does not affect how objects accelerate towards Earth. However, in air this changes even though you're still accelerating at 9.8. But let's do some experiments first.
Yeah, and look at it. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Oof. Off center. So you just saw two experiments that demonstrate roughly the same principle. Go Phil and I, ain't that right? The first was a stack of notebooks versus a single notebook. In a vacuum, they would have hit at the same time. However, thanks to Earth's thick atmosphere, that's thick with two C's, the single notebook was slowed down, even though it has the same surface area. Unfortunately, it had less mass. And in an atmosphere, heavier objects fall faster. Light objects will reach terminal velocity first. Terminal velocity is the maximum velocity of an object falling through a medium. Terminal velocity is the maximum velocity of an object falling through a medium can reach. A medium being almost anything that's not a vacuum. In this case, surface area is the area of an object facing down in this particular situation. Again, in the second experiment, I had two bricks, one of which was attached to a piece of cardboard. This cardboard was to increase the surface area of the brick. In a vacuum, again, both would have hit the ground at the same time. Surprisingly, in this case, the cardboard was enough to slow the brick down, and the bare one hit first. I was actually surprised by this. And I'm guessing Phil, whenever he sees this, is probably going to kill me. Woo! I don't know what the point of that was, but alright. This next experiment is the elevator drop test. This is Phil's brainchild. Him and his friends have been thinking about this for quite some time. So today we're going to answer the question. Hopefully. What we're going to do is use a box with a hole cut out so that we can see the popper. Hopefully. And then we're going to set this popper inside it. I will then drop the system, and as it approaches the ground, the popper will hopefully pop. The question is, what happens afterwards? Will the popper fly upwards back to the point of where it popped? Or will it go higher? Or will it do something else? The question comes from a few different sources. First of which is the first Avengers, where Thor is in a glass box falling towards the ground, and he's trying to jump out the side. Different, but close enough. The next one is from Legolas. See, he was trying to get across this wide gap and was jumping across falling rocks. In both these cases, people have superhuman strength. Now, I can't simulate this, but this should be close enough, right? I hope. Anyways, from what I've heard though, you're weightless inside the elevator, but you'd still stay stuck to the bottom, unless any part of your weight shifts, like, at all. Which, as humans, we're constantly moving. So it wouldn't take much. So hopefully, this will answer that question too. I'm done. I can't take it anymore. I literally cannot take it anymore. I'm done. 3, 2, 1. Yes! Oh my god, yes! So I got really mad, okay? This experiment was super frustrating, and what you saw was the closest I got to a success. The problem I ran into was these poppers are too unpredictable. In the example I showed you, it was unclear whether I had let go of the box when the popper went off. Anyway, it did kind of answer the weightless question I had earlier. I saw many poppers, as they went on their failed runs, stay stuck to the bottom of the box. And so in theory, if they moved, they'd become weightless inside the box. Sorry, Phil. I tried to get to work, but yeah. I tried and 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 why? Hello there. I have my fun fact book. I'm in my fun fact chair. That means it's time for a fun fact. Today's fun fact might not come as a shocker to everybody here, but some of my Americans that don't know a lot about physics or science in general, it will. When I'm referring to mass and weight, I'm referring to two different things. Mass refers to the amount of stuff that makes you up, the amount of matter. And in the English system, this is measured in slugs. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. Anyways, weight has gravity. It takes into effect gravity. Your weight changes from planet to planet. Heck, your weight changes from, say you're at the bottom of the Burj Khalifa to the top of the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in the world as of September 14th, 2019 at 7:42 p.m. Central Time. Your mass does not. Your mass is constant. The only time your mass changes is if you use the restroom, bleed, or, you burn some fat. That's the only time your mass will change. Your weight will change with that as well, but your weight will change if you're on the moon, if you're on Earth, if you're on Titan, if you're on Venus, if you're on Mars. I don't know how you're going to get to Venus or Titan, but good luck with that. Isn't that just fascinating? Whew. This time, I won't hit myself on the crotch. The last experiment is Newton's third law drop test. I've done this multiple times. I know exactly what should happen. I'm going to set this tennis ball on top of a basketball, or a tennis ball, I should say. When the system hits the ground, the basketball's energy will be transferred into the tennis ball. The combined energy from the basketball and the tennis ball will launch the tennis ball high into the air. This demonstrates Newton's third law of motion. For each action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The equal and opposite part is shown when the tennis ball flies into the air. Of course, the basketball has a larger mass than the tennis ball, meaning that it has a higher gravitational potential energy and a higher kinetic energy when it's moving than the tennis ball. That's why the tennis ball flies higher than it was dropped from. Yes! Zooey mama bait me like a catfish. I don't know what that means. Anyway, as you just saw, the ball did in fact fly upwards, very far. I don't know how clear it was because I haven't looked at it, but even when I do look at it in post, because of how crappy my computer is, I still probably won't be able to see it. Anyway, now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, my glorious jump. Now it's time for supersize. If I have my cameraman zoom out. Can we see the ground?
No. Let me.
Well, direct it so you can see the ground. And come back up. This is a 20-foot drop. I am going to jump. We'll see if I can survive. You're not actually thinking you're gonna jump, right? We only make 2 suicide jokes on this channel, and this was, well, technically number 3. But I won't be doing it anytime soon. So in the meantime, I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and share. New videos every other Friday, 2 p.m. Central Time, and good night. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Subs for trees. Oh, you're still here? I thought I told you to go home. Oh, you want more? I'm flattered. Check out the playlist. If you want exclusive content, check out my Instagram, Dr_sheep_YouTube. That's all lowercase. If you want to help the earth, subscribe. When I reach 100 subscribers, I'm going to plant 10 trees. If you feel that's too small, then check out my channel chart where I lay out even bigger goals. Finally, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet watch time. Bye.